Well, we've been pretty much very welcoming for the Cleveland Cavaliers. We've given them flowers. We've talked about how great they are. We've talked about how exciting and we love the brand of basketball they're playing. And we've showered them with our affection and admiration. But today, boys and girls, it's time for us to call the Cavs out. We got a great show planned for you today. Got a lot to talk about the Cavs. We'll start with that. We'll get into some comments from Kenny Atkinson. You'll hear from Darius Garland. And I'll tell you why. People who just talk about panicking, that's not the correct answer. It's not panicking. These are warning shots. We'll explain when we get back here on this episode of The Barbershop. Welcome on into the barbershop, wherever you're watching right now, whether you're on YouTube, whether you're over on Facebook, whether you're on Twitter, whether you are on Twitch or Steam, wherever you at. We appreciate for you pulling up on us today on the barbershop. First of all, shout out to everybody. We did a great job at Hilarities the other night. Had a great time. UCSS showed up and showed out at the comedy show. Thanks for every single person that came out and met us downtown at Hilarities. It was a great time, great event, and we did it all for charity. So that was the biggest thing that we wanted to do. And so we thank all those people, Mike Polk and everybody else that put that thing together. But let's get to why y'all coming to watch this. Let me start off by prefacing this right now. If you are going to be one of those individuals who say, oh, you guys are overreacting to the Cavs, and this is the thing I don't like about the media. It says you guys are just so this ain't for y'all. I've always said there's a time and a place for everything, and if you are a fan, that is fine with me. You could be a fan. But here's the point I'm trying to tell you. This is for people that want to talk about championship caliber teams, X's and O's, and constructive criticism. Because feedback is a thing that you get in this lifetime. Feedback is a thing that you have to have. And right now it's time for the Cleveland Cavaliers to get their feedback. I'm well aware what their record is in 15 losses. I'm well aware that they can still break. I don't know if they can do it or not. They can basically break the record for most wins in a Cavs season. I'm well aware of all these things, but I'm also aware of watching what I'm saying on the court and understanding that what they're doing is far worse than, oh, it's just they're tired. That's not it. It's far worse than, oh, G. Bush is the schedule. That's not it. Oh, G. Bush, they're trying to make sure that they get into the playoffs with their health. That is not it. I'm going to tell you, any championship caliber team that has that mentality getting into the postseason is not going to hoist that trophy. It has never happened on any level. Nobody has been more concerned about making sure my minutes is down for a team that is one of the youngest teams in the league. You're starting five ain't nobody approaching 30. They don't even have 30 minutes logging most of the times. They've been staggering people, from Evan Mobley getting a night off here. Then it's Donovan Mitchell's turn to get night off here. Jared Allen wants to play all the games. I commend him on that. But Darius Garland gets games off. A lot of the games they played during the first part of the season were blowouts. They blew a lot of teams out, and they weren't playing big minutes. So when you want to hit me up talking about, oh, no, well, it's just all these things. Listen, sit back and ride and enjoy what I'm going to tell you, because right now we're going to get to some constructive criticism. And this podcast ain't going to be for the people that just want to hear feel-good stuff. This is for people that want to talk about how the Cleveland Cavaliers and the Cleveland Browns, we'll get to them later on the show, what they need to be doing. First and foremost, before we get to my comments, I'm going to let you read I'm going to give you the press conference from Kenny Atkinson. I'm also going to give you some comments in the post game from last night from Darius Garland. Now, you listen to what they say. Don't put it on me. They said these things. We will be breaking it down while we talk, while we going through the video, and don't put it on me. They're saying this in their locker rooms. So you can stop all that misnomer about it's the media's fault they be taking L's. No, it ain't. I don't dribble a basketball, never. And it's not about the record or breaking records. It's the way that they're playing going into the playoff. It's nasty work. And if you're honest about it, you know it deep down in your stomach too. Let's listen to what Darius Garland has to say in terms of, what do we need to do? Now, audio is a little loud, but we're going to work with the sound.
How much harder is it? Kenny was kind of talking about this, when you dig yourself a hole, the amount of energy you have to exert to make that comeback, at the end of the day, not having enough gas after having the 10-day trip and second night of it back-to-back.
Yeah, it's tough. Putting ourselves in that hole, not playing hard for the first half, and try to be some superheroes and supermen, trying to come back in the second half. It always doesn't work for us like that. So, I start the game with some good intensity, some good energy, really, from the jump, and didn't end up doing that tonight.
I know you don't want to make excuses trying to team do that, but do you think any of that energy, has to do with the past, week and a half of what the schedule's been like?
I think I'm making excuses, but it was a long road trip, but we give credit to them over there. They played really hard, came out really aggressive. They set the tone, and that's what we had to do.
How important was Craig when you guys were starting to make your comeback?
Man, he played a huge part.
First of all, listen, I ain't gonna get on nobody, but come on, bro. This is half the reason I'm talking to y'all right now. Y'all think a little too much. Everything is a little too funny, bro. Because it's cool for that to be the Detroit Pistons now. But anytime you talking about we didn't come out with no energy, we didn't come out ready to play, but you got energy to listen, I know what it is. Sometimes people say something, you ain't got to be serious 100% of the time. This ain't game 7 in the finals. But listen, this is the mentality that you guys are going to have to root out. Darius Garland, there's two people. Darius Garland and Jared Allen are going to have to take things more serious. Not saying that they're not serious basketball players, not saying that they're not talented, but they are going to be the ones people are hunting because they feel that these two guys emotionally and physically are the guys they're going to come after. Those are the guys that they're going to pinpoint. They're going to put them in a pick and roll. They're going to see how tough you are. And so when you laughing and granted, it ain't that big of a deal, right? But that laid back, chill demeanor is not going to get it done in the playoffs. And until the Cavs figure that out, they worry about they live and die on whether or not they hitting threes. And I've told you here before, what are you going to hang your hat on if your threes aren't falling? You still got to play defense. You still can't turn the ball over. You still have to play with some level of intensity. So we'll continue to finish this real quick. Let's see what he says.
Him picking up the ball, he gave us life. Bringing us some really good energy. We got a big steal down the stretch. Made some big threes. Just being him, being ready for the moment. And that's what he did tonight. And it's just showing his progressive nature, just staying with it. Sometimes his number doesn't get called, but when his number is called, he's always ready to play. And he brings that energy, and he brought a lot of life to us tonight.
The next game on the schedule, also not an easy one. You just faced the Clippers. You got a matinee game. What do you think is going to be key to getting off on the right foot against LA?
Just getting off to a good start. Of course, we want to win the game, of course, like Don says. But yeah, we got to just come out with some energy. When the ball is tipped, we have to be ready to play. Try to be more physical on the ball, off the ball. Try to limit them to one shot and get out in transition. So just play our brand of basketball, be us. Start the game with a high energy, though, for sure.
So there's always a talking point about teams wanting to play their best basketball at the end of the season. How important do you think that is?
It's very important. It's pretty important.
Are you concerned that you guys aren't playing the best basketball right now?
Oh, okay. That's bad. I'm just up with you, man.
Okay. All right. Yeah, man, it's pretty important, but
Nope, we're not even finishing that. We're not about to do that. We're not even finishing that. You already see what I'm talking about. We're not about to finish that. That's the problem. And that's fine for regular season mentality. That's cool. That's regular season mentality. That right there, I feel like that's making light of a situation that we've seen the Cavs not playing well in the last 10 games. I was listening to Sam Amico. Sam Amico was covering the Cavs. He said, yeah, it looks like they checked out. Cavs are not good enough to check out. Let me repeat that, boys and girls. The Cavs are not good enough to not play defense, to not play, to swing the ball. That is the way they're going to play. They don't have a Giannis. They don't have a Steph. They have no LeBron or no Luka. They have to play with energy. They have to make sure they rebound. They better come out with a game plan against people, because I'm going to just tell you something right now. You are not that good to be out here going through the motions. Who do you think? What are we doing here? He seems like he's not even like, I don't know what he was doing at the end of that conversation. I don't know if he was talking to somebody, but he seemed like he couldn't speak or talk for like 5 seconds. And it was just like, you want to go through, you do your best. And this is the reason why people, and look, a lot of Cavs fans get upset when people call them soft. And a lot of Cavs fans get upset when people like to say that the Cavs are too, they're not serious enough. They don't have a killer instinct. And who's the guy that's going to pull people aside and say, let's get this together? I'm not seeing it, bro. And the reactions in a post game, I just don't. You tell me if I'm wrong. What did you see from Darius Garland in that conversation? What did you see? Did you see a person that was disappointed that they were on the road and got manhandled by the Pistons? I know the Pistons is an upstart good team. I know they've been playing a lot of games, but does that seem like a person that is really trying to fix that? Or you see a person that's content thinking, yeah, we done made it. You have not made it. And Kenny needs to tell them that. Y'all ain't made nothing. Y'all keep playing like this, y'all be going in the first round. Best believe that Detroit Pistons and the Orlando Magic feel that they can get with y'all. Best believe that. But please believe it. Let's listen to what Kenny Atkinson got to say.
We're down, 21 with 35 seconds left. You guys led by Donovan, brought it back to within 2 there with like a little over 3 to go. Are you proud of, to not give up and try to come back, or how do you look at this game?
Yeah, I thought the guys, were down, looked like we were down and out, and we made a valiant effort, and then we how it is, we expended so much energy trying to get back that we just didn't have enough in the tank to finish it. But I just want to give them a ton of credit. They took it to us. I think they dominated a match, kind of in every aspect. And there's just nights where you gotta tip your hat to the other team. They played great. We weren't so hot, and they clearly deserved that.
I hate to bring it up again, but just with the offensive rebounds, I know it's been something that, you've talked about these past few games. What's your take there?
It's just hard, you get a stop and they're getting, 2-3 extra shots at the rim. It's just not sustainable, and between the offensive rebounds and the free throws, it just kills your defense, right? You have to finish your defense, and you have to finish with a rebound, or you can't foul them. Fouling's not finishing your defense, so we didn't do those things tonight. So this is the point where I come in the conversation and say, if you're jumping online, don't get mad at people for people saying it. If you're a Cavs fan, don't be mad for people saying it online. Now, if I would have said it, you're being over the top. You're hyperbolic. The season is long and all this good stuff. This is Kenny Atkinson saying it. And what he basically told you over there was this. He said, listen, we got to stop our possessions, and you only get your defensive possession is only over once you get the rebound. We've been getting slaughtered on the boards for the last 10 games. That is all about physicality. That is all about making sure you have the first contact. That means finding the guy, seeking him out, putting your forearm in his chest, blocking him out, and securing a rebound. And our bigs aren't doing that right now. And if you're not doing that against Detroit, what makes you think you're going to do that and turn it up against the Celtics? If you can't do that against the Chicago Bulls or the Trailblazers,
What makes you think that you're going to be able to do that if you run across Giannis or you run across the Knicks? You're not. And he's spot on. And I like the fact that they keep offering him these softball questions about maybe it's the schedule, maybe it's this, maybe it's that. He's not dealing with none of that. He's telling you straight up, this is coming from the horse's mouth right here.
How much do you think what the schedule has been this month is playing into how you guys are playing right now?
I mean, I don't know. It's hard to, it's hard for me. I don't like to lean on that, I mean, we had some of our best players rested, right? Like, so it's hard to use that as an excuse. Every team goes through this. We're not the only team. It's, schedule's pretty much equal across, so I don't think we can use that as an excuse.
How much of the offensive rebounding stuff that's happening against you guys is something tactical, maybe related to the zone, versus could be a fatigue thing?
Good question, Dan. We'll have to look at it. I think.
Again, offering up these questions. It's the zone now. It's not the fact that we're getting dominated man to man on the boards, or we're not finding somebody to put a forearm into and securing a rebound. We're not tenacious enough. We don't have enough energy. You keep trying to give him some out cards like, is it the schedule? The Cavs don't play no more, no less games than everybody else in the league. Stop telling me about schedules. Stop telling me about 25-year-old guys that can't play back. You know how many games a day they play on AAU when they didn't play growing up? Let's quit that. Now you're asking me, is it the 1-3-1 zone? And Kitty does a great job of saying, hail to the no.
There's some technique stuff. I think there's some, sometimes it comes down to hitting first. Like something, it's just physicality and aggressiveness. With rebound is not a ton of tactics involved. It's like at the end of the day, I think I've come to the conclusion it's like whoever gets to hit first, whoever hits first drives the other guy out, and you go get the rebound. So it's obviously we're lacking in that area right now. And I told the guys, I said, listen, what you don't want is to be down in a series 2-0, 2-0 because you're getting pounded on the board. There's other things where, that can happen, but having that happen is kind of inexcusable. So it's definitely something we got to turn, we got to fix.
16 turnovers to their 15, but they were able to convert 25 points to just 6 for you guys in transition. How difficult is it for you guys to be able to come back into a situation where they're just getting out and running on you guys?
I mean, when you turn it over to the other team, it's probably, the worst possible outcome, right? Because that's that they get out in transition. They usually have an advantage, and you can't stop them. I felt like we turned it over and it was a layup drill. It's like, it's just, you're right. I think the turnovers are a big thing. I think their physicality caused a lot of it, their activity. But that's playoff basketball.
You're damn right it's playoff basketball. And right now, the Cleveland Cavaliers look like they are not ready for it at all. You heard what he said. You heard it. I don't have to listen. I'm just a mirror. I'm holding it up. Let me show you this will get you beat. And this is the conversation that he should be having, and I hope he's having behind closed doors. Fellas, y'all ain't won crap. Yeah, y'all a feel-good story, but everybody in the league looks at y'all as sugary sweet. You listen, you look like a bowl of kids' cereal on a Saturday morning, ready to be devoured while I watch Tom and Jerry. That's how cotton candy sweet y'all is right now. You gotta understand, and this is the point. This is why I came with this energy. Go back and listen to that quote. The quote of that whole press conference was this: guys, you don't want to be down 0-2 in a playoff series because you can't secure rebounds and you're getting physically manhandled on the boards. And the reason that we're turning the ball over, the reason that we can't get the ball up the court is because we're being out physicaled. And we don't like the pressure. Darius Garland and Donovan Mitchell have been giving up the ball the last half part of the year. The only thing that people don't realize is it's been masked by the simple fact that they've been winning these long winning streaks. But go back to the last half of the winning streak, the 16-game winning streak. They wasn't blowing people out. As a matter of fact, some of them games, they was down big in those games, and they were able to hit some shots and come back and get some timely stops to win those games. But when the playoff starts, the bill is out. The scouting report is out. Be physical with the Cleveland Cavaliers, and they'll wilt. Be physical with their smaller guards as they're trying to bring the ball up. They'll turn it over. Be physical and put your forearm in the back of their back, in the lower back, and put your body weight on Jarrett Allen. Demoralize him. Make him think that he can't do nothing to stop you. And he'll quit. Evan Mobley, make sure he out of the game. No blocks for Evan Mobley. Matter of fact, we want to finish over the top of Evan Mobley and make them blow the whistle. And because the guards won't stand up and play solid defense man to man, and they get blown by, he'll be on the bench by this 5-minute mark. That's what the scouting report is. That's what it is. Speaking of the scouting report, let's go to the box score. Matter of fact, listen, we're gonna get right to this. I want to see what you guys think. Super chat is available. Hit me up. I want to see what you're talking about. I want to see what you saw. Here we go. Let's take a look at it. Cavs lose last night, 122-133. Detroit Pistons came out. They were more physical. Shout out to JB Bickerstaff. He definitely wanted that game. His team wanted that game. His team wanted it for him yesterday. Look at this stuff. Evan Mobley coming. Now listen, Evan Mobley was chilling, wasn't he? He didn't play the night before. Evan Mobley didn't play the night before, so he can't be tired. He's 12 years old. Came out there with a plus-minus at 23. 33 minutes, 3 of 10, with 9 points. The more disappointing part is 6 rebounds. Unacceptable. That gets you beat first round. Don't tell me that they're packing it in, or that they are not good enough to be disinterested. The 97 Bulls can be disinterested. The 85, 86 Celtics, the 80, 88, 89 Pistons. Those teams are good enough that you can say, yeah, man, I don't feel like showing up today. Not these dudes. Let's keep it pushing. Jarrett Allen, after he had a crazy game the day before, 20-something points, 19, whatever the case may be, he comes back and gives you 8 points and 4 rebounds. Minus 13. Can't happen. Dominated on the boards. Cannot happen. You look at that, you're being elusive fast. Darius Garland, 4 turnovers. Minus 8 plus minus. Donovan Mitchell, he had 38. But you're turning the ball over 2. And you're minus 16 plus minus. Because you guys are not stopping. You're not being the head of the snake. You're not stopping ball penetration, and your guys is blowing past you. You continue to look. Let's keep it pushing. The only thing that saved y'all, Craig Porter Jr. saved y'all coming into that game. These guys is cracking me up, man. Look at this. Look at this. It's Sir Thompson. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 4 blocks. That is the physicality you need in the playoffs. That is what I want out of my big dudes. You cannot, under any circumstances, whoever the guards are, you let Tim Hardaway Jr. score 32 points on you. Like he was Penny Hardaway and his father mixed together. This is crazy. 32? They didn't even have Cade Cunningham. You Bush, but it's okay. They're checked out. It's okay. It's a back-to-back. It's okay because, it just is. I just want to see my team win, and they got a good record. Listen, that good record stuff is going to go out of the listen, keep playing like I'm telling you, I swear, keep playing like this. Dennis Schroeder, 17. Jalen Duren, 16. Malik Beasley, 19. They even let Isaiah Stewart, 14. They let the whole doggone Palace of Auburn Hills get buckets on them. Crazy. Jalen Duren, 13 rebounds. Our bigs is contributing. Evan Mobley had 6 rebounds. Jarrett Allen had 4. Unacceptable. Unacceptable. Telling you, the defense has been slipping. Defense has been slipping. Offensive ball movement has been slipping. Intensity has been slipping. Running the shooters off the line has been slipping. Physicality has always been questionable, but that's taking a step back. Let's get to you guys. I'm ready for whatever y'all got. What y'all got? Brody's bottom line. Cleveland media do this all the time. This is a nothing burger. Detroit was off since Tuesday. They should have had more injury to Cavs. Cavs won't be playing Detroit or Orlando in the first round. By the way, the Cavs are 60. Hey, listen, I appreciate your super chat, but I told you this wasn't one of them conversations, was it? This is a conversation about what are the Cleveland Cavaliers. If you want, listen, here's the thing. If you want to be known as a championship organization, heavy is the head that wears the crown. Much is given, much is required. If we're going to sit up here and we're going to call the Cavs a championship organization, then we have the right and the duty to call them on the carpet when they are not playing championship basketball. My job is not to be the cheerleader of the Cleveland Cavaliers and to make sure that they feel good about the wins they already have. My job is to say, listen, and any coach worth their salt is going to tell them this. And he said it. This is playoff basketball. I didn't say it. Guess what? The coach did. Guys, you don't want to be down 0-2 in a playoff series because you can't get a rebound. Don't put it on the Cleveland, don't put it on the media. Kenny said that. When they asked, how come, what is it? How come you can't get a rebound? He said, I just think it's physicality. Detroit being off since Tuesday has nothing to do with the energy level. Kobe Bryant once said, don't nobody want to hear that crap. Them people came out here to see you play. You're a professional athlete. And if you want to be known as the best, there's no nights off. And for people who have never won something, you can't have the mentality that you can start taking them off. You ain't won nothing. I told you this wasn't one of them conversations. This conversation is about people that want to talk about X's and O's and how the Cleveland Cavaliers need to play into the playoffs to get to where they want to go. They ain't won a doggone thing. Ain't been to the Eastern Conference Finals. Ain't been into none of that. And the reason why people get so enamored with it is because just because they ain't the Browns or just because, they give you certain types of, they had a great season means you can't critique what they doing on a night-to-night basis? Come on, man. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy. Y'all crazy, bro. I don't know what y'all thought. Let's talk to him, man. Yeet, yeet. Living and dying by threes is literally what the Celtics do. What most good teams do. Missing a lot of shots is part of the variance, part of the game. Sometimes a team hit a lot of shots. It's basketball. Again, I need somebody to give me. I told you this. If you're not hitting shots, that's part of the game. Putting your forearm in somebody's chest and wanting it more on offensive rebounds has nothing to do with your shot making. Being able to sit in a stance and not get blown by consistently, causing the defense to collapse, your bigs to foul people, and have open shooters open because of rotation because you refuse to get in a stance and play your man has nothing to do with you shooting shots. What does 16 turnovers have to do with missing shots? I'm confused. When the threes are not falling, they don't play defense, and they're reliant on making threes. Thank you. At least somebody gets it, because we give passes out. I get it. The record is great. But don't come back here looking around talking about, did we miss something? When you get into play, if you lose in the first or second round, don't come back here talking about, what did we miss about this team? It was in front of your face the whole doggone time. If they're not hitting threes, their energy wanes and they don't play defense. Come on. Thank you. We need to get back into the flow of the offense. Stop giving these guys day off rest. And my thing is too, how are you going to get ready? And then you get, well, it's a bunch of lineups. We have people in and out of lineups. The reason people's in and out of lineups is because you keep sitting people. So now you want me to give you an excuse because you're not in rhythm. You want me to give you an excuse because you're not playing guys at the same time. I'm not going to do it. We sit the guys. Ain't nobody hurt. Who hurt? Here's what you can do. Kobe always said it. Hey, if you want rest, y'all, we're going to get some rest earlier than you thought, because when we keep playing like this, we will be out of the playoffs very soon. How about LeBron on Pat McAfee show calling out the clowns in the NBA? I do got it. At the end of the show, I'm going to get to that. What up, JT? I see you, bro. I'm going to get to that. Definitely going to get to that. I think LeBron knows how to troll now. I think he be trolling people. But like I said, be clear, LeBron made a lot of people money, a lot of money, including Stephen A. Let's talk about this. You my main dude, GB, styling and profiling, keeping it a buck. These Cavs ain't winning no chip. Too soft. Good teams, but not chip worthy. I'm not going to go into this. I'm not going to go all the way in deep into my bag and tell me that they're not worth a championship. But the hell with all this other rubbing shoulders type stuff. Y'all got me messed up. Y'all got me messed up. See, I come from an era where I played sports and played basketball in high school and played baseball and played in college for football. And them coaches don't give a damn about your winning streaks. When they put that film on, they're going to say, why did you block your man out? I don't care if you had 37. But we give these dudes passes like that. We give so many passes, it'd be so wild to me. And these are not just one-offs. These are habits. These are habits. You can't do that. Nobody is beating the Cavs in the playoffs. Keep it 100. They played with no energy last night, but I give you the facts about last night. Guess what, my man? Brody's bottom line. You don't get you don't get any extra credit point for saying you didn't come to play. I'm never excused. Let me tell you this. This is where I come from. I'm never giving no athlete ever a reason that he shows up and don't give 100%. If that's the part of the game that we talking about, I don't believe in it. I will never do it. I don't care if you're Jordan, Iverson, Barkley. If you don't show up and give 100% and you got a built-in excuse for that, it's unacceptable. That's what sports is built on. It's built on when you put them shoes on, you go compete. And whether you know it or not, competing is a skill set. Because sometimes you don't want to get up and go do it. Sometimes you don't really want to you don't want to put them extra shots up, or you don't want to box out, or you don't really feel like moving your feet that much, or you don't, man, come on, man. I'm not going to deal with that. I'm not dealing with effort. That's the problem. We have so many people. We've given people passes that in the NBA, they don't even need to play defense. I don't know nobody play defense. The hell no, on my team, you're going to play defense. Come on now. To get us to a couple more. It's this crazy. Sean says, G, you also have to look at it this way. Golden State didn't have big victories either all the time. Also, we're down big and managed somehow to come out with a dub. Listen, what we're talking about is this. We're talking about habits. I'm not talking about this as a one-off. This is what I'm saying. You guys haven't watched the last how many games? You didn't see him get beat against the Clippers and Zubac got 30? You didn't see him get out physical and muscled around, pushed around by the Suns? You didn't see him get out physical, pushed around by the Kings? It's there. I get it. It's there. Let me keep pushing. It's crazy. Crazy. Let's get one more. Couple of them. Hey, what's up, Kenny? I appreciate you, man. Yes, sir. Hit that like button. Hit that like button. Get that thing going in the chat. Matter of fact, if you hear 837 people around the internet pulling up on me, we got a lot to talk about today. We're going to get to this. Coming up here in a moment, we're going to switch gears a little bit. And I need your help on this one because we're gonna go Browns. And I got a unique way I'm going to come at this situation with the Cleveland Browns here in a second. Redshift Galaxy. By the way, Redshift Galaxy, that's kind of fire, bro. Like that's like a deep meaning. Get your cosmology together, bro. Get your entropy conversation. Redshift Galaxy? That went over a lot of people's head. Physicality is not a habit, it's a feature. It's not something you can turn on and off. That's the biggest kryptonite for the Cavs. You can't turn physicality on and off. You have it or you don't. Do you got the dog in you or don't you? When somebody hits you in the mouth, is you gonna hit them back? Are you when you go into these games, is it war like a rut? That's a cold one. That is a cold one. G. Bush, anybody anybody when they travel takes a toll by flying in the human body or chill. Come on, bro. Come on, Ronnie. Come on, bro. Nobody care about that. Come on, Ronnie. It's the same for everybody in the league. Come on. Listen. Listen. Think about it. I watched. Let me. This is why I got to do this. Let me see. Hold on. Let me do this real quick. Let me do this. Let me do this real quick. And let me do this. I didn't even plan on doing this, but we're going to get to it. We're going to get to it. Hold tight with me. I just want to show y'all something real quick. And I want y'all to let me know what let me see. I want y'all to let me know what y'all think about this because I'm tired of these talking points. And I want you to refute them. If you don't believe it, I need you to refute what I'm about to pull up. And I'm gonna ask you, what's the difference? Okay. I like to be visual. Let me see. But I like the conversation. Let me do this. Let me upload this real quick. Because that's why I like this platform and the stuff that I be doing. See, I'm gonna try to answer you in real time. I don't got no problem with you disagree with me. Everybody can disagree, but it's about bringing something to the table and making sure that you guys can have a good conversation and get the facts out. So let me upload this right now. Now you said planes. People it's the human body chill. G. Bush, just chill. Let me get you to this. And then we're going to get to something else. 885 people in here. Let's keep it pushing. Let me pull your stats up for you, bro. This is John Stockton's stats for his career. Don't look at the points, rebounds, all that good stuff. And don't look at the assists. We know he's the all-time assist leader. Look at the left-hand column. I do believe that they were flying in 1984, right? I do believe that in 84, flight was created. I believe the Wright brothers had something to do with that in the great state of North Carolina. Look at his career, 19 years. Let's go down the list and see how many games he played. 82 games in 84, 85. Another 82 in 85, 86. Another 82. Matter of fact, the first 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the first 5 years of his career, the man played every single game. Can I keep going? Let's keep it pushing. He fell off the wagon and missed 4 games the next year. Fell all the way off. 4 games. Then he went back on another streak. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97. He had 82 games, my good sir. Why the hell the people back then with less with less technology, same amount of games, same airplane travel, why is it that man can play 82 games, but we sitting here making excuses for Darius Garland and Evan Mobley, who are 5 years old? Let's keep it going. He gets injured at the age of 45. He's starting to tail off, but he's 35. He played 64 games, 50 games. And do you know what he did? He said, you know what? Instead of retiring and falling all the way off, here's what I'm going to do. At the age of 37, 38, 39, and 40, I'm going to end my career playing 82 games. But I got to hear about load management. Just one of the greatest to ever do it. Don't tell me about that. Don't tell me. And don't tell me he didn't play against nobody, because every single day, one day he got Magic Johnson at point guard. Yeah. Next day you got to see Isaiah Thomas. Yeah. He played ball players. All this conversation about these load management and these excuses is wild. I digress. Let me see. I want to see who refuting that. Where it's at. Let me see. I'm looking for something. Let me see. Nothing. It's the way it usually ends up. Nothing. All right, let's keep it pushing. There's like, damn, I didn't think he was gonna pull them up that fast. I have nothing to refute that. Move on to the next conversation, G. Bush. It's all good. All right, let's get over here to these Browns. Let's get to these Browns. Oh, I see one. Real problem is with the guards defense. It is. Because when you're the head of the snake and you give up blow-bys, guess what happens? Your bigs are going to get in foul trouble. You have to help. Then you swing, and now you got open threes. Or you give up penetration, you get into the lane, and now your bigs are fouling. Or you give up penetration, they kick it back. When your defense is not good enough at the front of the point of attack, you're not going to win nothing. Phil, making excuses for how we have looked is wild. I know, bro. This is why I just say my listen, over here in the barbershop, I'm sorry, it ain't for everybody, because I can't, I'm not gonna do no regular radio where people play and I say, oh, it don't matter. I'm sorry, we're not gonna do it. Speaking of, let's get to this. I need y'all to help me out with this. Let's keep it pushing. Whew. I digress. Let's talk about this. I found that even when you're talking about the Browns, there's some things that have been going on with the way we talk about with the Cleveland Browns. And, we've been going back and forth with a lot of different people. We've been going back and forth. And I wish I had this. I'm going to pull this up real quick. Bear with me here, because I think it's important to go where I'm getting this information from. Here you go. Let me see. And usually, Mac and me be going back and forth with a lot of stuff. And sometimes I agree with him, sometimes I don't. But I think he's spot on with this. And it gave me some information. It gave me a thought process to kind of, bounce something off y'all to see if y'all kind of feel if we on the same page, so to speak. So let me get this in here real quick, so we can show you exactly what I'm trying to get to. It has to do with the way the Browns and way the fan and the media want to talk about the Browns and their philosophy and things. And we've done a lot of shows where we've gone back and forth talking about who you should draft at number 2. And there are some people who want to talk about drafting guys like Abdul Carter. He seems to be the big guy that people really want to see pass. The Browns pass on the quarterback to take at 2. And that's Abdul Carter. Now listen, I've already been on this on statement saying Abdul Carter is a great player. Abdul Carter is going to do some great things moving forward. Abdul Carter is a stud, and I agree with it. But I feel like the Browns need to address the most important position, which is quarterback. So, we ended up on that. But I started to look back at certain things too. And I started to see certain things that also that we seem a little bit allergic to. And in general, we're finding out, and I'm looking at it like, let me just look at the skill positions, period. Not just quarterback. Let's look at skill positions overall. And it seems like as if we are kind of allergic, where we have this thing where we don't value offensive players, not just quarterback. So I said, let me do a deep dive. The Cincinnati Bengals just signed T. Higgins and Jamar Chase. And I said, man, that's kind of crazy because I don't think the Browns would ever do that. As a matter of fact, I don't think the Browns would ever draft two receivers that are good enough for them to give them a contract at the same time. So I started to look at the history what the Browns were. I started to look at the history and went back in the story time and figure out who are the Browns' best receivers. And I come to the conclusion the Browns have had the worst receiving core since the beginning of the NFL. There was no team who has had worse receivers in the NFL in its entirety than the Cleveland Browns. I'll explain that coming up a little bit. But first, let me give you this. Mac had this, right? He had this, and this was very funny. Shout out to Mac. He says, hashtag Browns since 2020. In 2021, they went 8-9, 9 games under 21 points. So, like, let's get to the anemic nature of the Cleveland Browns. And we talked about whether it being a feature or a fact. Like, this isn't an outlier. The Cleveland Browns have been bad offensively as long as they've been in the league. 2021, 8-9, 9 games under 21 points. They decided Baker wasn't going to get it done. 2022, 7-10, 8 games under 21 points. We talked about Deshaun Watson moving the rest around. So, again, anemic offense under 21 points. 2023, 11-7. Now, mind you, that's the year they went to the playoffs. That was the year in shining glory that we talk about as if we were the juggernauts of the league. And Joe Flacco could do no wrong. 9 games under 21 points, led the NFL in turnovers. The next year, 3-14, 14 games under 21 points, led the NFL in INTs. And he eloquently points this out. During this whole time period, you see what the offense has been doing. You see how inept the offense is, but yet and still, they want to take a defensive end at 2 to fix this continual issue. And he was right. See, it's not just the quarterback that the Browns don't take. It's not just the quarterback that they don't take. They don't take the receivers either. They don't. Listen, let me show you. Let me get my slides together. Let me cook. Let me see where we at. They don't take the quarterbacks or the receivers. Let me move this up out of here. I'm gonna bring that back in here. Let me see. Pull this up. This is wild. This is wild. Hit that like button for your boy too. Hit that like button for you. All right, so let's get to this. All right, so we're gonna show you. Let's start off with the top 10 receivers. Now, this is according to, I believe SI.com had this a couple of years ago in terms of the best receivers of all time, right? Let's take a look at it. Top 10 receivers in Cleveland Browns history, Josh Gordon. Now, mind you, to be the top 10 receiver in the league and you only got 3,000 yards and 16 touchdowns, come on, bro. He had 1 year. He only had 1 year. He had 16, 46, and 87 receptions and 9 touchdowns in 14 games. Come on, man. That's 1 year. That's at number 10. Evan Johnson. He was with the squad for 4 years. He's number 9 in your list. Come on, 23 touchdowns. Come on, bro. I think Randy Moss had that in 1 year. Braylon Edwards, Jarvis Landry. Look at the tenure. Look at the tenure on these guys. 4 years, 3 years, 15 touchdowns. 15 that's your top 10? Like, we gonna keep it pushing. Webster Slaughter. Look at this. This is the number 6 all time. 305 receptions. I think Antonio Brown had 305 in 2 years. Maybe am I tripping? Am I missing something? Am I doing something wrong? Is the math not mathing for me? Let's get to this. Now we get you your top 5. These are your top 5 receivers for the Cleveland Browns ever. And now we go back to black and white. We now talking World War II. We talking Korean War. We talking post-depression. Max Speedy, 5,602 yards, 33 touchdowns. Anytime you say he had a 2,000-yard campaigns first coming in 1940, if they say 40 anything, I got to go. I got to go. It don't get no better. Ray Renfro, 1952. Listen, I know who Hunter Renfro is. I don't know nobody no Ray Renfro. Come on. First guy you actually know about, Paul Warfield, right? First guy you actually really get into that you know, you're like, oh, Paul Warfield, right? Listen, and even if it's Paul Warfield, he only had 271 catches. I get it was a different era. I get it. Look at this. Gary Collins? This is the number 2 receiver of all time in your joint? 1964. These are civil rights type dudes. This is Martin Luther King era football. This is what we doing? And then last but not least, Dante Lavelli. The name Dante don't even exist no more, really. 1946 caught 40 passes for 843 yards. Think about this, folks. I had to really think about this. It's not just the fact that people are allergic to the quarterback. I had to get back and start looking down the annals of time and asking myself, are we allergic to receivers too? And every single year, we have these conversations and people keep telling you, build through the trenches. Build through the trenches. And you ain't got a receiver or a quarter. Look what we're doing now. We got Jerry Jeudy. One receiver. Jerry Jeudy. And nobody else. I mean, it's Thrash. What are we doing here? What are we doing? And just to prove it to you, I'm going to show you the list. Let's get it. Let's dive into these draft lists, because sometimes I just got to show you what it is, because we got this allergic nature to say we don't need so-and-so. Oh, we don't need that. Matter of fact, let me get my list of we don't need people ready to go. Let me get them ready, because this is what really irks me the most. Let's do this. Let's do this. We're gonna get this together. We are the most we don't need as people I've ever seen. And I'm gonna give you multiple examples of it. We're gonna get to it. And I'm gonna get y'all, man. Listen, super chats available, 1,000 people in here. Make sure when I get done explaining it, we need to have a conversation because I need to know from you guys why is it we think like this? Where did this come from? Because this is a revelation to me. As I sit here and we talk about stuff happening for 30, 40 years ago, it still continues to happen. It happens all the time. I went back and looked at some of the quotes. It's like, yo, where did we get this mentality from where we don't need receivers, we don't like quarterbacks, we every receiver is a reach? It's crazy to me. Everybody that scored touchdowns a diva. I'm like, come on. I get that you like defense, but when did this come into play? Let's take a look at it. This is an article that I dug up. Let me see what year this was from. This is from 2023, right? These articles pop up all across the internet. Happens every single year. That's why I got to bring the receipts. Need and want are two totally different things. But in general, our instant gratification society has them closely linked. Heck, some Browns fans are either ready to throw a Super Bowl celebration or throw the team in the scrap heap, despite the fact the NFL offseason is less than a week old. We can't win or lose games in March. NFL free agency does that for a lot of people. The Browns have been busy signing 9 players, including 4 starters, that haven't made a quote-unquote splash headline. Andrew Berry has been methodically working and has not spent too much salary cap and has plugged holes around bigger stars. As we shared on our weekend free agency tracker, one of the players the Browns wanted in Cleveland was Brandon Cooks, was traded to Dallas for a similar deal as Amari Cooper last year, with Houston taking on the salary. Cooks wanted to be with the Cowboys and willing to restructure the deal there. The Browns didn't seem overly interested, and despite the low percentage, the price point, perhaps this is because Cooks had Dallas as a destination in mind. I don't know, got no problem with what he's saying so far, but let's go to the next level. This next step is where I got the problem with. Perhaps maybe because a vertical threat, he would have gotten the touches in Cleveland with Cooper and Donovan Peoples-Jones taking much of the outside role. Donovan Peoples-Jones was never good. Hence the reason he is not in the league, doing nothing. He's regular. He's a jag. We don't need that because DPJ. In the end, the wide receiver position is just not as big of a need as fans might think it is, especially compared to what was needed on defense. Amari Cooper, DPJ, David Njoku, Chubb will get the majority of the snaps and skill positions. Only can have 5 skill positions on the field at a time. Outside of those 4, tight end Jordan Akins, a jag. Jerome Ford, a jag. David Bell, not an NFL player, are in line to get snaps. And while Anthony Schwartz, who's no longer in the league, has struggled, Michael Woods is a regular dude, has showed flashes in pre-age. Isaiah Weston and Cena, you get the point. You understand where I'm going with it. It don't stop there. That was just in remotely. That was just this draft. That was in 2023. Let's take a look at some other stuff. Browns fans were excited about Josh Gordon after last year's breakout seasons, right? Following the first round, fans knew the Browns would draft a receiver in the second round to complement Gordon, tight end Jordan Cameron. When Ray Farmer didn't draft on day 2, everyone knew they would add 1 or 2 on the last day of the draft. Yet Ray Farmer did not, though he added some interesting players that were undrafted free agent. In an interview recently, Farmer explained his thoughts on receivers, and that should provide fans with a detailed idea of what to expect related to future drafts and free agency. I'll cut to the chase. Nothing, because he was a bum too, and he didn't know what he was talking about. I would say, how important are those guys, quote unquote, talking about receivers? Farmer told WKRK-FM and Cleveland, per the plain dealer. Name the last big receiver to win a Super Bowl. Name the last mega guy. Josh Gordon matters to me because I like the guy, and I think he's a really good player. But at the end of the day, when you look at the teams that have mega receivers, name one of the last guys that won a Super Bowl. There are none. The last guy who really helped his team to get there was T.O. This guy was a fool. Again, this is just not the quarterback. This is rampant. This is not just, we don't want Shedeur Sanders. You don't want offensive players, period. Where are you? Then an article to follow up with that says, take a look at the top 3 receivers in the NFL over the past decade. Calvin Johnson, Larry Fitzgerald, Andre Johnson. All 3 have dominated the game as receivers, but none outside of Fitzgerald's 1 Super Bowl appearance, which came when Kurt was his quarterback, has made a noticeable impact to regards to championship. Dez Bryant, A.J. Green, Gordon are among the next wave of receivers, but if not surrounded by a solid quarterback and a team built from the inside out, they can't get they'll have the same results as the other 3. So here's the perpetual cycle that we're in. They tell you if you don't have a quarterback, receivers don't matter. But you don't ever reach on a quarterback, and you don't ever take receivers if you don't have the quarterback. So what you end up doing is not taking the quarterback and taking other positions, and then justifying not going to get receivers and playmakers because you have already said you don't have the quarterback. It's a hamster wheel. It's a self-fulfilling prophecy. And it's been going on for 50 to 60 years because I just showed you where we've been taking guys. Farmer's statement tells us a couple of things that we should be prepared for in a few next year. Farmer may not be willing to give Josh Gordon a huge contract. That didn't happen. It may come. Farmer is unlikely to break the bank in free agency for another receiver. That never happened. So cross off the list at the beginning of next year's free agency. Trading for high-priced receivers like Deshaun Jackson or Mike Wallace were not likely and won't be likely in the future. With 2 first-rounders, it's unlikely the Farmer will use the highest pick on a receiver and possibly won't use either on a receiver. And this is the way the cookie crumbles, boys and girls. Here's another one. We'll finish out doing this. Here's another one saying that we don't need receivers because we had Cordell Hodge. In addition to the wide receivers and tight ends that the Browns have at their disposal, they have one of the best pass-catching running backs in all of the NFL in Kareem Hunt, which you just didn't use. You didn't use him. Even when Nick Chubb returns, Hunt will still play a vital role in the offense. One receiving option is Cordell Hodge, special team standout. While the trade deadline is approaching November 3rd, many will call for the Browns to bring in another big name wide receiver, which cite the Browns need someone who can take the top off the defense. Now, this is the 3rd or 4th jerk that has no clue that keeps saying this. It happens every year. Guys, we need to wake up. These people write the same stuff every single year. This is Groundhog's Day. While it's true that the Browns offense will miss the speed of Odell Beckham Jr., who was clocked in at the 4.41. However, both Hodge and Peoples-Jones are more than capable of stretching a defense when called upon. Get up out of here. I gotta go. Let me get up out of here. You done made me mad. I already know I was going to say that. How I'm going to be mad and surprised. I didn't take a drink. Sorry. People crack me. These. Not only don't you want a quarterback, you're showing me you don't like receivers. And let's take a look at this. Let me end this off and we'll get right to your chats. I know I got 149 comments, 1,052 people in here all across the dot. Just wherever you at. Hit that like button for your boy. Share this. I appreciate it. This is a master class, and if you disagree with me, you tell me. So let's now that we put it in context, who the Browns have as all-time receivers, which are the worst in the league, not debatable. We've also put in context that every single offseason, every single year, we like to make up reasons why we don't need said playmakers, and we've never had them. And we also like to make up the fact and act like we're not drafting these positions. We're not prioritizing linemen. We only want to draft a quarterback in the top 2 rounds. The reality of the situation is the Cleveland Browns in 25 years of being in existence has spent a top 3 pick in the draft on a quarterback. They did it twice. First overall with Tim Couch, first overall with Baker Mayfield. And guess what? Those are the only 2 quarterbacks that took you to the playoffs. How has the second round quarterbacks worked for you? How has the Colt McCoys worked for you? How has all of those Deshaun Kaisers worked for you? Hasn't. The only quarterbacks that took you somewhere and did something came from the first round. So this thought process that the Browns have been doing all these other things and not hitting and swinging for the fences. The one thing I can tell you is I'm going to point out the number of busts on the line, and I'm going to point out the lack of playmakers that they've ever invested in. Let's start. Tim Couch, number 1 overall. We talked about it. When the organization came back, Courtney Brown, number 1 overall, bust. Generational pass rusher, they tell you. The next year, Gerard Warren, number 3, bust. Got to stop the run, G. Bush. Got to stop the run. We got our defensive line for years to come. No, you don't. You went with a running back in William Green, and what'd you do the next year? Let's solidify the offensive line. Jeff Fain, bust. So 3 out of your 5 years that you've been in existence, you drafted linemen, and they were busts. They didn't draft receivers. They didn't draft quarterbacks. They drafted in the trenches. We still haven't seen first receiver that you get coming back is Braylon Edwards. He had 1 year. That was it. He was out of here. Cameron Wembley. They draft him the next year. Another trench guy. Bust. You draft Joe Thomas in the next draft. Right? That's the one you got right. He's a Hall of Famer. Guess what? Never won anything. You know why you didn't win anything? Because it doesn't matter if you ain't got a quarterback. They drafted Brady Quinn 22. They traded back up to get Brady Quinn after he slid. They didn't draft him high. It's 22. Right? They drafted in the trenches again. Good pick. Alex Mack, he was a solid player. Should have re-signed him. Didn't re-sign him. He's a good player. So Joe Thomas, you got right. Alex Wright, you got Alex Mack, you got Joe Hayden was a solid player here. But then you get back again. Phil Taylor, another defensive lineman. Phil got hampered with injuries, but guess what? Not worth it. It's a nose tackle. Again, G. Bush, we don't value the trenches. Liars. We do. We just can't. We just can't get the right people. Brandon Whedon was 22. They didn't take him high. He fell. Coming in 2013, another trench guy. Bust. Barkevius Mingo. And they went to the podium with that, did nothing. Like that was jumping. Johnny Manziel, they had to trade back up to get. Danny Shelton, bust. Listen, G. Bush, you got to stop the run. How many nose tackles y'all going to keep drafting in the first round without no quarterback? How many times are we going to do it? Can we do it? Let's look at the same draft. 19 overall. You had 2 first-round picks, 12 and 19, and you wasted them on 2 bucks. Cam Irving, a center that they thought was projected to play tackle. Bust. Get up out of here. Listen, we finish it off right here. By the way, in 2019, the 17th pick was traded to the Giants, who used it for Dexter Lawrence, who turned out to be a great player. We should just let them pick for us. And then the final bust up front is 2010, is 2020 is Jet Wills, who is garbage, and that's been documented. So again, I'm just giving you the totality of it. The way I'm looking at this thing is this is not just the quarterback position. The Cleveland Browns have been consistently sheepish on finding talent at the receiver. They've been avoiding taking receivers high. They've been avoiding and not even developing receivers. And if you look at this since 1999, how many receivers? They drafted Corey Coleman, bust. In the first round, they drafted Braylon Edwards at number 3, bust. But that's it. You've drafted 2 receivers in 25 years. I'm interested to see what y'all got. I'm interested to see. Maybe I'm crazy. We got super chats. We people moving. We moving. We're moving. EJ, I appreciate you, man. Appreciate you. Y'all missing the point. G is letting you know the players are creating bad habits right before the playoffs. All while the championship Celtics have turned it on as of late and dialed back in. Thank you very much, EJ. Thank you so much for your sports intelligence. This is sometimes in our society we can't even criticize people. When I was working at a manager, they gave us a whole seminar on how to deliver feedback, constructive feedback, because people are so emotionally fragile that they can't ever hear that they're not doing something good or ever hear that this needs to be improved. They melt. And so now it done trickled down to a point. If you say something about a team and developing bad habits, I'd rather talk to the Cavs right now before the playoffs than be down 0-2, 0-3, and everybody looking around talking about, do we need to blow it up? Was Kenny Atkinson fool's gold? Who didn't play? Who didn't show up? I'm just showing you the bad habits is developing right in front of your face. And the bad habits developing in front of your face when you don't point them out and you don't make a conscious effort to correcting them. That's all I'm saying. That's it. Not an excuse, but have you ever seen a team be on a West Coast for 2 weeks, back home for 1 game, and then back on the road? I mean, man, my coach said this. He said, listen, don't show me the labor pain. Don't tell me about the labor pain. Just show me the baby. Don't nobody care. Like these people, think about it. I don't want to get too philosophical, but our forefathers were tremendous men. Our forefathers were tremendous men for a reason. Back in the day, they had a lot of things that a lot of people today take for granted and don't even understand. Back in the day, you had to have a trade. Everybody's grandfather knew how to change a tire, work on a car, do carpentry, work, build a garden, know how to tinker with stuff, use a pocket knife, know how to fish, clean fish, know how to hunt. These folks was Swiss Army knives. These men were great men because they had a lot of wealth of knowledge. Them people was working jobs. They would go over to a war. Why, nowadays we miss a whole generation of people who I used to ask my mom, how do people at our family, how do they get the American flag at their funeral? He said, well, son, you gotta be a part of the military. You got to serve in the armed forces. They get those flags to people who are honorably served in the military. And I thought that was the dopest thing in the world. I thought that was the best thing because I'm like, wow, that's just something that they get special, and it just shows the reverence for the sacrifices they make. Those folks not only went over to where they went over there, came back and worked for 40 years at a factory. Went over there and fought, came back here and worked in a steel mill. And it wasn't just the regular people, it was the sports stars. Sports athletes was leaving, playing baseball, playing football, going to a war, come back, play football, and had jobs in the offseason. I refuse ever to sit here and talk about, have you ever seen a team be on a back-to-back West Coast swing for 2 weeks? I seen people in the military do a back-to-back tour in Korea. I didn't see people do a back-to-back shift in the steel mill, 12, 14, 16 hours. What are we talking about? These guys is on a plane eating chips, chilling, hanging out, kiki and laughing. But that's why it's a different mindset, bro. Back then, men was you couldn't be no. You had to be a certain cut from a certain cloth to even feed your family, bro. You had certain responsibilities and duties. And I'm not sitting here and preach. I'm just giving admiration to the people that did it, because I look at myself sometimes. I mean, you soft. You don't know how to do none of that stuff. Like back in the day, a husband was valuable. That you was valuable to a point where a wife didn't know what she was going to do if her husband died on the prairie, 1800s. Huh. What? Your husband died? She had to hurry. This is crazy. She had to hurry up and get married again, just because of the value that a man brought to the house. He was protection. He could farm. He knew how to, if there was Indians on the reserve that was coming to get you, if it was bears outside, if it was coyotes, if it was wolves, if he needed to teach his kids how to hunt, how to paint, how to put, man, come on, man. I'm sorry. This is why I say this ain't for everybody. And I know people say, you're just getting so preachy. Go back and talk to the Browns. I'm just saying, I can't go about it that way. Browns don't have a quarterback, running back, or wide receiver, but people want to draft a DM so bad. Now you're right on about it. Now, see, Brody, you're agreeing with me now. That's what I like to see. I'm playing with you, man. Feel free to disagree anytime. But this is where we're going with the Browns. You don't have a quarterback, a running back, a receiver, but you want a defensive end. By the way, they did the same thing last year. You had a number two, you had a high pick, number two. What'd you take? Mike Hall Jr., a defensive lineman. My question to you guys out there, for all those people that want to say it's just all about, drafting the best available player, I'm going to give you guys this so you guys can understand, and I want you to seriously, in the comment section, let me know how this works. Everybody says you never reach on anything. You never reach on anything. And this is the dagger. I want to hear it. They say you never reach on a quarterback. You always draft the best available. You're a liar. Let me tell you why you be lying. Let's say, for instance, this year you did. Let's say you did draft Abdul Carter. Let's say you did win 7, 8 games, right? Save Stefanski's job, but you don't draft a quarterback. You just build around. Kirk Cousins is your guy. Say, for instance, sign a 1-year deal. You got 7 wins. That puts you at 7 wins. I think the Giants was the Cowboys was 7-10. That puts you drafting somewhere around 12. 7 wins, right? So say you draft Abdul Carter. You've already got Myles Garrett. And then there's a defensive end next year. This defensive end coming out of the draft, that they're saying that this guy is better than Myles Garrett. Now, we know that Abdul Carter ain't better than Myles Garrett, but this new defensive end next year is better than Myles Garrett. You're sitting there at 7 or anywhere from 12 to 20. You're sitting on the clock. If you say every single year it's about taking the best available, then if you're on the clock at 12, that would mean you would be drafting this defensive end, does it not? I'm waiting. The best available, you told me. You say you never reach on anything. However, all of the quarterbacks in the first round, they've been taken in the top 10. Say, for instance, Nussmeier off the board. I like him. The kid from Tennessee off the board early. And your golden child, Manning, off the board. You're sitting at 12. None of the teams are going to move. None of the teams wanted to move with you. So you look back in the second round of the draft and you say, well, look, it's a run on quarterbacks. Should I trade up and use assets in the future to take a quarterback who has a second round grade and solidify them to make sure that we have a quarterback this year? The answer is hell yeah. See, that's the catch-22 that you can't answer. If it's always about taking the best available player, in this scenario, you should stand there at 12 and take the defensive end, which would mean you drafted 3 defensive ends in the last 3 years. Skill, position need be damned, because your philosophy is rigid and short-minded. You, of course, common sense says, I've already punted last year, which would be this year. I punted and said, hey, Shador ain't good enough. I'm not drafting a quarterback. I took the best available. Now we get to next year. What if the best available is a defensive end? You going to pass on the quarterback again after you didn't make the playoffs? No, because it's career suicide. So stop all of the, it's the best available. It's not. And I'm looking for a rebuttal if you got one. I'll take it. Let's see. R-Mac Dog. G. Bush, I've always been concerned about making a deep playoff run without another big physical backup center that can bang and observe through tough fouls. Here's the problem with the Cavs have, and they do have some people that can be tough and physical. The problem is they do things and they're not cutthroat enough, and it goes back to also being soft. Hunter should be playing day one. DeAndre Hunter should be your starting small forward, but I don't know if they done made a pact with him saying he got something in his contract that's saying that, look, he's going to get an opportunity to be 6th man of the year, and if they start starting him too early, he's going to miss some money in his contract. I don't know what they got going on, but the fact that Max Strus is sitting around here running around at 6'4" as a shooting guard, who's a bench shooting guard, is playing in the starting lineup, and you wonder why you get out rebounded. You're starting 6'4", 6'1", 6'2" at your guard positions, getting put in the pick and roll mixer. What are you talking about? Of course you're gonna get beat on the doggone boards. See this. Oh, here we go. Browns don't have a quarterback. Don't have a quarterback or receiver, but they want to draft a defensive end with a bad foot and a shoulder at 2. And here's the thing, too. That scares me a lot, too. Abdul Carter has been hurt for I don't know how many months. I saw him play against Notre Dame. He had a shoulder injury then. He went at the combine. Okay, cool. I knew he wasn't going to do that combine. He's still injured at his pro day. I'm like, what do you mean you eating dinner with him? And at the combine, they find a stress fracture. So he got a bad shoulder. He 250 pounds. The thing that really makes him go and is explosive is his legs and his feet. That has issue. And you telling me that's where you're going at 2 and you have no weapons. It's crazy. Drafting Abdul Carter is almost drafting him out of fear that you're going to miss on somebody. I'm convinced at this point. Shador at 2 is a bad decision for the Browns, but at 3 in New York is a great pick. Make that make sense. If he's good enough to be 3rd, why not 2nd? Because BD Dog 21, I appreciate you. Because it's a Jedi mind trick. I always tell you guys, please think for your own. Don't even pay attention to what I'm saying 100% of the time. Listen, really do some critical thinking here. The national media does this to you all the time. They did it with Odell Beckham Jr. He was a cancer here, bad here. But as soon as they said, well, I think he's a good fit in this city, and this city. And I'm like, the way you talked about him here, why is it all of a sudden it's a great fit over there? If it's a reach for the Cleveland Browns at 2, how is it not a reach for the New York Giants at 3? How? Make that make sense. Oh, I don't think you can reach on the quarterback. Shador isn't it. He'd be a 2nd round pick. But if he falls to New York, I mean, he's built for the big city. I think he won't get rattled. He's a great pocket passer. I think Brian Dable will get the best out of him. He already has Malik Neighbors on the outside. I think it's a really good situation in New York. Shut your mouth. And y'all believe that. And then we get left holding the trick bag and looking around. And the Cleveland Browns are just inept. I mean, they can't find their quarterback. They don't have any receivers. Yeah, because you keep telling us not to take any. And we listen. Stop listening. I'd rather take the defensive tackle. Preach. Monster Mosh, I appreciate you. 1,200 people in here. What's up? Look, great question. Let's see. See, they say never give credence to people that just have a letter and no picture. Oh my gosh, you might be 12. Controversial card channel. Y'all don't realize how hard it is to build through the draft. It requires luck. That's why most GMs are like F them picks and trade players that are already panned out. It's the way we can't even what's the name. Let's see what we got in the chat. Andrew, Carter makes no sense. He'll be on the sidelines with Miles huffing and puffing because our offense can't move the chains and the defense will be gassed by halftime. Joseph, until we have a quarterback, you don't have an offense. Sanders and Ward will be stars, pass on them, and the Browns brass is looking for an exit strategy. Let's see. What we doing? Let me see, my man. See what we got. Did I miss one? I'm seeing. Let me see. Make sure I didn't miss nothing. Let me see. I think I got all of them. See. All right, just make sure we didn't miss no super chats. Let's see. Keep giving you a couple more here before we go to the next one. Let me see. Am I missing one? Let me take this. Oh, here we go. This is from Armac Dog. We appreciate your super chat, bro. Hey, G. Bush, do you think Andrew should hire some draft consultants made up from former GMs and Hall of Famers to develop a short and long-term strategy to rebuild through the draft and free agency? That would be kind of smart, but here, let me just tell you the way the game works. Guys at those positions, those are 1 in 32. And those jobs come with a lot of ego. Those jobs come with a lot of power. And those jobs come with a lot of jousting that goes along. And a lot of these guys are not willing to bring in outside consultants because it then begs to question, why would I need you if you are just getting all the information from these outside dudes? Why not just say, why not paying these outside dudes? And that's why that's the thing. You are staking your reputation, your career on whether or not you can pick the guys. And trust me, it's not easy. It's not. I'm not saying that this is the easiest job in the world, but that's what they get to pay the big bucks for. It's not an easy process, even if you got the number 1 or number 2 pick. And even if there are slam dunks, think about it. This class is nowhere near the class that was when Baker's class came out, right? You had Rosen, you had Darnold, you had Baker, you had Lamar Jackson, you had Josh Allen. You had 5 quarterbacks, right? And think about it. Out of those 5 quarterbacks, the Browns could have had any 5 of them, and they still missed. Think about it. They still missed. And or they didn't develop, because that's a big part of it as well. That's a huge part of it as well. Let me get to this. I want to switch gears a little bit. And let me see. I'm gonna throw this out here. I was gonna go one or two ways, but I'm gonna go this way. I'm gonna go this way, and I got to get to this because I think that this needs to be said, and I think this needs to be talked about in terms of the way things move in society. And sometimes you're gonna say some stuff that ain't even gonna be, it's not gonna be what I would say popular, but it needs to be talked about. Let me pull this up because I thought this was super interesting. And it's crazy to me that nobody is reporting on this at all. At all. No one's reporting on it. So I kind of know why they're not reporting on it. However, we're gonna take a look at it. We're gonna get to it because I find this I find this super fascinating. As somebody was like, hey man, look into this real quick. So I got a problem so far with the silence that we've seen on the front in terms of Justin Tucker. I find it very funny, and say what you want about Deshaun Watson. Listen, he's not gonna play quarterback for the Browns. You say what you want about Deshaun Watson, but at the end of the day, we was doing round the clock coverage. When I first got on UCSS, I was telling people like this, bro, we got another topic we can talk about. We got something else we can move with. Every single day, we hammered it like it was the O.J. Simpson trial. We went at this thing. It's a new accuser. It's a new situation. It's a new thing coming out. And I just find it particularly, it's wild to me that if you search Justin Tucker's name, you can't find nothing. Not on Twitter. The Baltimore Ravens ain't said nothing. The NFL ain't said nothing. I'm like, bro, this is night and day. And everybody is quiet on the Western Front. And I think we were quiet because the lawyer, Tony Busby, was out here in the media doing a bunch of stuff. He had allegations ready to go. He had new people every single day ready to go. And the way he went about his business, he had stuff on deck. Every time you thought it was over, no, it ain't over. We got this. Here's 4 more people. Here's 2 more people. He's all these people. But let me just give you this, because I thought this was very interesting. You see, he not only went to that, he tried to piggyback off of a Diddy case and added Jay-Z's name to it. Right? Jay-Z's extortion claim against attorney Tony Busby may have one less problem. A Superior Court judge said he was inclined to allow an extortion claim by the 1999 Problems rapper to survive its first legal hurdle. Superior Court judge on Wednesday indicated that he was now leaning towards allowing Jay-Z's extortion claim against Houston-based attorney Tony Busby to go forward, a reversal of what he previously said he was inclined to do thanks to a startlingly new evidence presented to the court. The new evidence is a transcript of a conversation between an unnamed woman who is suing Jay-Z and a pair of private investigators, in which she appeared to admit that the star rapper was not involved in a sexual assault, but that it was Busby who pushed her to add Jay-Z, whose real name is Sean Carter, as a defendant. If this evidence can be considered, and the court believes it can be considered for this motion, it supports not only the defamation cause of action, but also the extortion cause of action, Judge Mark Epstein wrote in a 49-page tentatively ruling. For if one accepts James Doe's statement to the investigators at face value, and then she at least inferently did not authorize the settlement letter to be sent, even to conclude that she was to sue Carter at the time the letter was sent. He added, without a client's authority to send a demand letter, the court is far from confident that the letters do not start to look more like extortion than an attempt to settle a civil suit. This follows the fact that Busby sent a letter to Jay-Z saying basically, hey, look, hey, if you don't want me to add your name to something, please, we might want to settle out of court right now. Carter declined the mediation offer. One of the accusers, a man, never filed a lawsuit, but the other woman amended the lawsuit already filed in court in New York to include Jay-Z as a defendant, whereas he has been previously unnamed, claiming that both Combs and Carter sexually SA'd the person. I'm not going to get demonetized for the situation. Now, here's where the situation gets off the racks. Here's where I want to hear the transcript. A month ago, during the first hearing over the anti-SLAPP motion, Judge Epstein said that he was inclined to dismiss 3 out of the 6 defamation claims as well as the extortion claim. But as we talked about earlier, he got new information. But toward the end of the first hearing, a bizarre twist, Carter's lawyers had just received an explosive new evidence that could upend the case, or at least the motion. The new evidence filed later turned out to be a declaration by a private investigator who had spoken with Carter's still unnamed accuser. According to the declaration, the woman had admitted that it had been Combs who had assaulted her, and that Carter was simply there at a party. And in this conversation, it goes on to admit Jay-Z had nothing to do with this, correct? The investigator asked, according to the transcript of the conversation attached to the declaration. Right, the woman's answer. Other than he was at a party that you were at. So, I mean, he did not assault you. No, she responded. But in her own declaration earlier, she reiterated that her claim that she was assaulted by Carter. Now, they have dismissed the case against Sean Carter, Jay-Z. They have dismissed the case on the grounds that the woman says she does not remember Jay-Z, didn't know him, and it was proven that Jay-Z was not even at the place at the time in terms of when this assault happened. So you say, G. Bush, you did a long story where you did all that. What is that supposed to mean? What are we talking about? The reality of this situation is here. Tony Busby is being sued for extortion for admittingly trying to coerce witnesses to come forward to lie that Jay-Z assaulted somebody. Not only did the case get thrown out, he is now in court himself trying to defend himself on extortion and defamation cases. Here's what I'm going to say. Just because Jay-Z was wrongfully accused and it looks like he didn't do anything, does not mean and does not speak to the innocence of P. Diddy, doesn't speak to the innocence of Deshaun Watson, doesn't speak to any of that. But one thing I will say, and one thing I got to get clear, the silence that you see, the radio silence that you see from Justin Tucker, and the radio silence from this lawsuit brought by Jay-Z against Busby and his character is deafening. What happened to all of those people on them soapboxes? Do you know what the implications of this is? The implications is this man is false. He's falsifying testimonies and getting people to coerce themselves into saying that somebody did something as crazy and heinous as sexual assault. To me, I go back and look at it. It may not be popular. It may be whatever the case may be. But I stand on business. If we gonna sit here and I had to sit here and we got to talk about this with Deshaun Watson for weeks upon weeks upon weeks upon weeks and upon weeks, I find it crazy that something like this can come out and nobody says anything. Nobody says anything. We haven't heard of investigation so far on Justin Tucker. We haven't had a suspension. We haven't had a Baltimore Ravens investigation. We haven't had any of that. And it may not be popular, but who cares about popularity about certain things? I've always had an issue with calling myself a media member, because now calling yourself a journalist and a media member means that you put the cape on for whatever flavor the day is. We all sit up here and we got to make sure that we look great. We got to make sure we go with the flow. We got to make sure we're the first one to condemn something. We're the first one. I can't look at no information. I can't dig on it, because if you dig on it, that just means you're condoning it. My question is, everybody that was running them commercials and running them statements from Busby, they ain't running these. They're not running them. And so for me, I've taken a stance like this. The way things that are going in society, I don't got no time to talk on them. Because what this tells me is that people don't want the truth. They don't care about the truth. It's the narrative they want to run with. So I'm done talking about, what is this? And how fair is that? And suspensions. I don't care about none of that, because people don't care about that. Yeah, I never cared about that. No, they don't. If they really cared, like they straight railroaded Trevor Bauer. Straight, just, yeah, I know she was caught red-handed lying, but I just don't, it's just nasty. I don't understand it. And for me, but once again, this don't mean that somebody is innocent or somebody is truthful, or it doesn't have, you're not putting no guilt on nobody. But the reality of the situation is, you got a dude who is in this type of hot water. And if you was one of the people that was out here jumping around doing content on that 25 hours a day, you should have a responsibility to put that in the record, to put that in the ledger. Because that's our problem when we pick and choose what we want to talk about. We pick and choose what moral grounds we want to die on. And we pick and choose what narrative is best for business. And a couple of years ago, what was best for business was, Deshaun Watson, it's best to just call him a predator at all angles. Maybe Busby was doing it a kind of underhanded game, but it is what it is. It's not affecting me. I can't call it. I can't do it, because the reality of the situation is, Deshaun Watson's not getting his reputation back. He might not even play football no more. But that's the way the game works now, doesn't it? So if I'm going to say Deshaun Watson, his career got to go, well, guess what? Mr. Busby should be disbarred. He should be prevented from practicing law in any state. He should be prevented from doing any sort of litigation if this defamation suit for extortion goes through. It's not hard to find. It's right in front of your faces. We had to just put that down for the ledger. Some of y'all might not like it, some of you, whatever, but I stand on business, and right is right and wrong is wrong. And this dude, Busby, is out of pocket and definitely wrong. Let's add that to the pocket. Let's add that to the ledger. I need this for the record. I told you this wasn't for everybody. Told you this one. This is why. This is why people just tune you out, G. Bush. This is why. Let's see what y'all got to say. What y'all got to say? What do we got here? Here we go. G. Bush, you know why? Yeah, I got a couple theories about why. We'll leave those on the chopping block though. Ford's legal team should be ashamed of themselves. They didn't even seem like they attempted to fight back. Look, man, I mean, it got to a point where they like, no, you need to talk. No, you don't need to talk. You need to come out and speak about these out. No, you don't. You don't need to do nothing. He was like a deer in headlights. He ain't had the right people fighting that. You see the way, hey, by the way, let me tell you this. Now, this is where you get in trouble, G. Bush. You know this. See, Tony Busby got too big for his britches. Let me tell you where you went wrong, bro. You went wrong because you didn't realize you messing with Roger Goodell's paper. You messing. See, he thought he picked the wrong brother to go after. Yeah, you can pile on Diddy right now. You do whatever you want. But Jay-Z, he's in the camp. He is in the camp. He is in Roger Goodell camp. You think he running the whole halftime joint? He is in cahoots. Listen, they gave him credit for squashing the Colin Kaepernick thing. They said, I got to bring in the big dogs. Jay-Z, all that kneeling, Roger Goodell got rid of that kneeling quickly. He said, oh, yeah, we know how to get y'all. Let them play the music, all that kneeling stuff. We're going to get that up out of here. Jay-Z came out and said, how long we going to kneel? Everybody backed off. Like, oh, nope, can't do that. You can't go after Jay-Z. That's the NFL. That's the shield. Goodell looked at him like, you might want to recant that, homie. Am I lying? You might want to recant that. You can get Deshaun Watson. You might be able to get Diddy, but you're not getting Jay-Z. You barked up the wrong tree. Since then, Busby, they dropped the case on Jay-Z and have dropped 13 cases on Diddy. It's just dismissed. We don't even, that we was just joking. I'm telling you, boy. And see, I need to stop. This is why you be getting in trouble, G. Bush. You can't tell this on regular. You giving way too much tea and game out here. You giving way to this one of them old G. Bush blogs. You giving out game, boy. Thank you for getting me back to football. G. Bush, the Browns need to quit playing and draft Shador, go all in offense. Stop the BS. We need to outscore people. Shador Golden at 2 and 33. I just need some offense. What up, JT? I see you out there, bro. Appreciate the super chat. Hey. Talk that talk. Listen. What I just told you just to say, look, ain't nobody gonna tell you that. You barked up the wrong tree, Busby. You thought they would. The NFL, when them allegations came out, the NFL, we stand beside Jay-Z. You done tripped. You done lost your mind. You thought the Shield was going to give up one of theirs? No. You get one of these players. Hey. Listen. He might as well be there. That's like you going after Sammy Davis Jr. in the past. You can't go after Sammy Davis. You don't see him walking with Dean Martin. He was Sinatra and them. You done lost your mind? It's levels to this, homie. He lucky they didn't pull up and he received something from the league office that say cease and desist. Yeah. Hey, realest talk ever. Hey, I'm just saying. Now, look, Deshaun looking around like, bro, I should have asked Big Homie. How he get it? Listen, them big dogs like that, Robert Kraft, Jerry Jones, Goodell and them up there. Look, bro, come on, man. Jay-Z put a lot of stuff down. He's like, listen, they was like, listen, we know how the hip hop is, how we gonna move with this. Everybody was good. All that social unrest, that social injustice stuff, Jay-Z came right back in there and was like, oh, hold on, we're gonna give y'all Kendrick Lamar at the halftime. We got Dr. Dre at halftime. Snoop at halftime. Everybody forgot all about that. I'm just I gotta go, man. You guys are crazy, man. You guys are crazy. 1,300 people in here. I appreciate y'all, man. This is crazy because I just be coming to talk my talk. At the end of the day, I'm just trying to give you what the real is, man. We gonna give you what the real. I think the Browns is gonna be cool. And my panic on the Cavs, a lot of people's gonna say, man, you overreacting on the Cavs. Listen, I like the Cavs. I think the Cavs are gonna be good. I think the Cavs are gonna make a long run. What I'm saying to you is we need to tighten up a little bit. We just need to tighten up a little bit and get this thing done. Tighten it all the way up. I ain't did roll call in a little bit, man. I want to see where everybody pulling up from. I need y'all to put this in the chat. Where you calling from, man? When I started doing this barbershop thing, bro, people tell me, hey, man, ain't nobody going to wake up in the morning and listen to that on the internet thing. But I said, man, listen, my people going to follow me, bro. They're going to be pulling up on me. So I'm going to start from y'all, man. I'm representing 216 in the building all day, every day. I'm from 330. Stand up. 330-234-440. Shout out to everybody out there in Canton, Ohio, doing their thing. And I want to know where you calling from. We got the biggest crowds in the world, bro. We all over the place. Where we at? Let's get that roll call going. Let's get that roll call. And where we at? Where we at? Oh, here we go. Holmes County. Yes, sir. Slavic Village, man. The Natty. Sandusky. Northwest Ohio. 330 in here, man. You know what it is. Tuning in from Tampa. Let's go. 216 in here. John Hay High School. Meigs County. That's that Meigs Gold. Shout out to T. I got to come down and see you, man. I got to get back to see you. We got to catch up, man. 419 in here. G. Bush, we in Columbus, man. 937-614, North Carolina. Southeast Ohio, man. North Olmsted. Orlando, 216. Hubbard, UC 330-440. 216-234. Connecticut in the building. Youngstown in the building. C-Bus, man. We got to come down and kick it, man. Let's go. Hartville, South Euclid. You see what it is, 615-419. I see y'all, bro. The Land, Houston, Texas, Milwaukee, Rock Hill, South Carolina. Heights, stand up all day. If you're in the Heights, stand up any of the Heights. I need Maple, Cleveland, Hornsville, DMV. See what's up with you down there. Shout out to Wale 301-44646. Bowling Green, Kentucky in the building, man. We rocking and rolling. Shout out to the Philippines, Jacksonville, Florida, Jackson Beach. Shout out to my Ohio boys, Bobcat Country, all the heights in the world, man. I appreciate it. Let's get a couple more. West Side 216 in the building. We out here running it up, man. As always, I appreciate everybody that pulled up on me. You never know when you're going to see G. Bush. I could be radio, television in there. But if you want the fresh cut, if you want the real cut, if you want all the smoke, none of that filler, you see what it is. It's the barbershop right over there. Hit that like button, hit the subscribe button. And as always, go Guardians, go Cavs, and kind of biasly, go Browns. We'll take next Saturday, same place, same time. Peace.